What's good, y'all? We back with another episode. Welcome to God's Grace Podcast. My name is Al Smith. I'm here with my brother
Patrick.
We got a special guest for y'all.
It's your boy Brandon, aka Mr. Kingdom Made Media.
Y'all. Tap in. Y'all need y'all content done? Tap in for real. I ain't gonna lie. So we got episode 6. And we was doing what we was doing. I said we was doing what we was doing. But we was doing what the topic is for today. We was resting. But before we dive in, we gonna pray. So close your eyes and bow your head. But if you drive, keep your eyes on the road. Heavenly Father, we thank you just for this moment. We thank you for just being Lord of Lords, Kings of Kings, and that God. We ask that in this moment you not only use us, but you speak through us, Lord. We ask that the words that is spoken is from you and for the viewers to receive the revelation that they need to receive, God. We ask as we speak on rest that we actually apply the things that you've placed in our hearts to speak. We ask that as we rest in you and not in this world. So God, we ask that as we rest, we find peace, Lord. So we ask that you allow us to move us at your pace, God. And in this moment, in this conversation, we ask that Holy Spirit, you continue to dwell not only in this midst, because you said when 2 or 3 are gathered, you are here. So God, we thank you for the rest that you are not only allowing us to learn, but to receive through you. So God, we ask that you continue to have your way, not only in our lives, but in our friends and families' lives. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Rest. Yeah. What we were doing, as you can tell, viewers, that we haven't posted anything in a minute because we were resting, and that is the topic of today. And it is important for us to rest as spiritual individuals with Christ, because God rested as well. He rested on the 7th day after creating the world. Also, Jesus and God blessed us with sleep. That is a blessing that we have, that He has given us, so we can regain our energy back. And of course, we don't want to be burnt out, and we don't want to be stressed. So, just to start us off with the first point of rest. Resting spiritually is not just physical, it's about trusting God, not just taking a break. Rest equals letting go of control and being restored in His presence. So, what do you guys think about rest? What is your best definition about rest?
So boom. So this is a definition I learned from somebody else breaking it down to me. He said, rest is doing anything that restores your joy. And I was like, dang, you're right. Like when I do rest, I feel revamped. I feel revived in a different type of way. But I had to learn what rest was for me. Like, you know how you mentioned spiritual rest and how we were speaking earlier, like emotional, mental, all these different types of rest. But it was like, what rest is best for you? Like some people rest could be eating food and taking a nap, or Netflix and just chilling, or not that way, y'all. You know what I mean? Just clear up. Like, hold on. Nah, but like my form of rest is me running or me going out to the park. Yeah, I'm doing the physical things, but spiritually I'm resting, like you mentioned earlier.
I feel like everyone, when we think about rest, it's the cliche sleep. Get my 8 hours and we all good. But like Al and I were saying, there's different forms of rest. You have emotional rest, spiritual rest, mental rest, and then the actual physical rest. That's that already?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
My fault. So like me, for example, I work 3 to 4 days a week, 12-hour shifts. So I'm running through those, and then I'm also shooting content for my fiance. What up, girl? And that's a whole nother job in itself. So I'm running off of maybe 5 hours of sleep during my work week, and I'm up 19 hours a day. And then on my off days, I'm just shooting content, trying to get that moving. So I'm not really resting. I'm being short with her. I don't have time to really be in my word, or I'm not making time to be in my word. I stopped going to the gym. I told you, it's been 3 weeks since I've been to the gym because I'm too busy. And so now things are starting to fall to the wayside that help me, keep myself grounded. But it's like rest, it's vital. It's very vital. And I'm seeing that now because I'm cooked. Every week I'm cooked. I'm like, I can't keep doing this shit. Physically, I'm going to burn out too early, and I don't want to burn out too early. So yeah, rest is definitely very important for everybody.
Yeah, definitely agree on that. Another thing I want to just point out with resting, you talked about burning out, like being burnt out. That's the thing. I actually have that in my notes. You have that too?
Yeah, that's great.
See, look at that. We on the same wavelength, which is good. And yeah, so what you talked about burning out, and I feel like in this generation of young adults and people in general, everything's so fast. Everyone's so fast to get to a place. Even when you're driving, everyone's fast to get to the red light, and they feel like there's traffic everywhere. They feel like they have to be somewhere at this certain amount of time, or everything's gonna fail, or just personally. So, yeah, what I put down here, it says lack of rest leads to burnout. And the verse that I have that viewers can read on their own time is 1 Kings 19, written by Elijah. Briefly explains Elijah was exhausted and overwhelmed. God fed him and let him rest before anything else. So right there and then, he was burnt out from that. God didn't like correct him. He let him rest before anything else. So, and taking something that God allows us to do, which is rest, in that simple time, we can understand that, well, slow down time around us without rushing and making mistakes from a lot of things, and not feeling that it's wrong to do that. We're resting. Like, people feel FOMO a lot. I have a lot of people that feel FOMO if they're not doing something consistently, or in their calendars having to do something. But then they're like, you see their calendar, it looks like Tetris. You see red, blue, green, everything. And then at the end of the week, they just can't take it anymore. It's too much. And, me personally as well, you can be overwhelmed at work. You can be overwhelmed with even serving at church, This is why they recommend at church to, see what you are capable of doing, and don't overextend yourself, But yeah, burnout is one thing that you said that stuck out to me. And yeah, we need to slow down sometimes and see the bigger picture. Go for a walk, go for a run, or I don't know, build Legos or play with puzzles and stuff. Simple things just to relax our mind, because we are in this like work lifestyle, and just chilling for a little bit is going to be something beneficial for ourselves. So yeah.
So with people pleasing, because I'm in the field of service, like being a hairstylist, we serving people, like I had to learn, even though I'm able to do it, I shouldn't always do it. And it was kind of tough for me to realize, like, oh, okay. And as I was saying with the Lord, like I think like last week, I've been getting better at like not people pleasing, and like saying no with no explanation. That's another thing. Like when I was growing out of people pleasing, I'm like, no, because it's like, yo, they don't always need an explanation. Like, you don't always have to break it down so they can understand why you're not doing something. You'd be like, no. And they'd be like, okay. And once I realized, they're like, oh, all right. I'm like, oh, I'm over here overthinking, you know what I mean? So I feel like that also stems like the FOMO of like fear of missing out of what could possibly happen. But like we were saying earlier, like it's for you gonna be for you, like at God's space. I also have written down for like people pleasing, what is the intention behind the action? So, and I had to actually yesterday. So yesterday had first service, second service, and then there was a church concert up in Willingboro. But the church I just finished playing at was in Glassboro, and I'm like, it's like a 45-minute drive. Yeah. So I'm like, and I had to really sit with it. I'm like, I'm praying to God throughout the whole service. Should I go? Should I go? And then he hit me like, what's your intention of going? And I'm like, it's real, just to like show face and be like, oh, just to, because I told people I'll be there. Yeah. But it's like, they showing their online. Yeah. And he hit me, was like, yo, you have all this other stuff. Like, I had to prepare for this, prepare for other things. Like, I was able to have enough energy to breathe, do some spring cleaning. But if I didn't get that rest, that time with the Lord and all that, I would have been on this show like, really, just there, like you're in church. Yeah. So like, I asked y'all, I mean, when you're people pleasing or when you're not resting or being so busy, what's your intention behind it?
No, these are very good points. With me, it seems like I don't want to say lack of rest is the act of the devil per se, but like you said, fear of missing out. The whole "I'll sleep when I'm dead." Hashtag "I'll sleep when I'm dead." Like that's a crazy mindset to have. That's wild, bro. Like that's wild, bro. Like you said, God rested. If God can rest, bro, you can rest for sure. So we sleep for a reason. We it's naturally instilled in us to rest and recover. Our body, our minds need to reset, so we can handle the next battle the next day with whatever the devil has to do. You think that now look, all right, so look, you need to rest because the devil's not resting. You know what I'm saying? You need to rest in order to get your strength and energy back up to take on the devil. So the devil's not resting, but you need to rest. So if you're not resting, the devil's not resting, and you got something in common. You should have nothing in common with the devil. What his rules are. Message.
Yes.
But yeah, bro, it's like that I'll sleep when I'm dead mindset. It's not good because it shows that we're idolizing getting to this money. We're idolizing, the latest fashion, the latest clothes, the latest grind. It's like, no, how far can I push myself? How much can I accomplish? And it's like, is this where humans have come?
Yeah.
God's like, well, where are you gonna fit me in? You so worried about getting to the top, and now you get to the top, and now what? You're still unhappy. You got all this money, all this riches, all the women you can want, all the access you can want, and you're still not happy. It's like, so what was it worth? So I need you to rest and refocus yourself on me and see what the true meaning of this life is, which is honoring me and spreading my word. Dig what I'm saying?
I know that.
That was really good. That was really good. Now, rest. One thing I like to say about rest, since we're obviously on that topic, rest. I saw something online that said rest equals trusting God. If you don't rest, you don't trust God. And I felt conviction from there because there's times where I don't want to step back in doing something like the gym. We talk about the gym all the time in this podcast. We are avid gym goers. If you don't rest, your muscles will be sore and you can't lift heavy. You're not prepared for heavier things to come in the gym for weights. So especially with life, if you're not resting, you can't handle the weight of the world. So your muscles love rest. They don't love too much rest. That becomes laziness. That becomes, sloth. You don't want that sin. But once you rest in a perfect pinnacle time, then your muscles are able to grow. You develop and you learn new things, and you're able to obviously lift heavier. So with life, if you're resting, if you're taking your time and stepping back from something, not throwing it away, not giving up, but resting and slowing down for a sec, or taking an amount like a week off from work if you have that PTO, or if you know you can take a week off, whatever it is, then you're going to come back with a fresh new mindset. Now, if you're not coming back with a fresh new mindset, you probably weren't resting. You probably were, doing sit-ups at home, or still worrying about work, still worrying about life or something that's going on. You really need to rest and relieve your mind of whatever troubles that you're going. If you're not giving your troubles to God, where is it going?
So a lot of us view our troubles as storms. And even Jesus rested in the storm. But he was able to rest in the storm. This is in Luke 8:22 to 25, if y'all want to reference. But he rested knowing that his disciples was on the boat, guiding the boat, all that good jazz. But to put it to, applicable references, it's your community. So if you have a community, you're able to rest more knowing that this person can pick up your slack, so to say, or just knowing that things gonna be straight, even if you take that step back to breathe, to do what you gotta do in terms of getting your spirit right, getting yourself right. And then when it's time, they was like, oh, hold on, we ain't got this. Jesus. And he's like, oh, what's good, y'all? All right, storm, chill. Maybe I'm paraphrasing, but he allowed himself to rest. They allowed him to rest. And they didn't see no issue until it got so bad. It was like, oh, they rested on him. As he rested, it was like, yo, hold on, we got to lean on you. And so that gave me a revelation. It's like, look around in your community, how we were speaking earlier, a lot of men in general just need that community, that platform just to speak. And that's a form of rest. Like our conversations before this podcast, that's a form of rest that we was maybe wrestling with this idea, this thing, but being able to let it out to your community is a form of rest.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Wow. Y'all go crazy over here. Y'all go crazy.
That's all.
What you say about that? All right,
I feel like I do, but it's not organized in my head. Let me see if I can work it out. Rest. Nah, I got nothing right now.
I got another photo. So everybody knows the story of Jesus, feeding the 5,000 people. He rested right after that. He said, y'all go ahead and I'm gonna go pray. Because praying is a form of rest. He's like, I'm gonna go pray. I'm gonna meet y'all. So after your long weeks of working, after your
people.
Yeah.
Due diligence.
Yeah.
Due diligence.
Yep. Like he said.
I'm back.
There you go.
Back.
I knew it. I know it. I see it.
Yep.
I'm back, y'all.
I knew it.
All right. So rest, like resting in the storm. That's crazy. I need to trust God more when it comes to resting in the storm. I'm trying to do so much right now. So let me give y'all just a quick backstory of like where my situation is right now. So I was living by myself for 5 years. Rent went up, couldn't afford it anymore. So now I'm at a job that couldn't afford to pay the rent, so I moved back in with my parents. I've been with them for it's like a year now. I thought it would be 2 months. So here I am, living about to be a 33-year-old man, living at home with his parents. What's the word? Not like unwilling. I don't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be there. This wasn't my will to have this done. But for all I know, this storm could have been God's will. Like we said, God already knows what your start and end is. Yeah. So if he knew, hey, I know you're gonna get to a point where you can't afford it, you're gonna have to go back in with your parents. I need you to view it not as a negative thing. View it as a time to rest. Yes. A nice reset. Don't have to worry about paying rent or whatever like that. I need you to trust me. And I'm gonna get you a better job that'll pay you more money to where you can save to be able to move out. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I still don't think I'm fully giving myself to God. I'm still wrestling with I'm still nickel and diming, Lord. I'm not sure if you're really gonna come through right now. I got a fiance, like I said. What up, girl? And it's just like I gotta provide for her. I gotta put a roof over our heads. I gotta pay my bills. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm trying to help her build her business with her fashion styling business. And it's like I'm trying to do so much. And I think God is trying to tell me, bro, you need to chill. I got it. Still do the work, but I got it. And so, like you said, being calm in the storm, that's what my takeaway is right now, being calm in the storm. And my fiance, she can also take that, because we're the same person pretty much, and we're just real wild and real tightly wound up. She has her situations that she's in right now, and we're kind of very in a similar mindset, a similar place right now. So it's just like, if we can just learn to rest in the storm, like you said, bro, that's it. And that's true faith. That's really trusting when you don't know what's going to happen. And that's when God is going to throw them blessings at you.
So I got two things, because once you said resting in the storm again, I was like, that's being anchored and not relying on the sail. Like, that's just revealing, like, okay, are you more anchored on the sail of like the wind leading you, or just being present and allowing the storm to pass? And God's like, oh, all right, now we can use the sail again and be out. And then to piggyback on the you nickel and dime, I'm in that same position, because God checked me again, twice yesterday. And I'm like, dang. It's because I'm like, all right, because I'm like trying to be better at budgeting, planning, all that. I'm like, all right, let me be, intentional, boom, boom. And I'm like, and he's like, yo, haven't I already done more than enough for you? Like, he checked me right there. I'm like, haven't I already provided last month, the month before that, and you ain't have to worry, you paid everything on time, and then you even had more to even go out to eat, go do things with your friends. And I'm like, you're right. not saying just go out willy-nilly, everybody to just, spend but be mindful, be intentional on how you steward what, what God's giving you. But he always gives you what you need in the moment so that when you get what you want, you'll be able to steward it in the right way.
Yeah, that's definitely important. That's good. And to bring it back to nautical terms, as we're talking about sailing and storms and stuff like that. I don't know exactly, but I know not pirates, but sailors back in the day, like way back in the day and stuff like that. Whenever there was a storm, like deep sea fishermen and everything, when they didn't have like these top electronical ships and everything, they had sails and the paddle and the rowboat, or if it's like those big Roman ships where they're doing that, they had enough trust in that one, like the navigator, like the guy that's in the back, like, row, and they're not facing him. The thing, their back is towards, or I think they're towards like the sea, or he's facing them, or I could be completely wrong, but they're not looking directly at him. Of course, they're rowing, taking all in unison, and there's the navigator and then the guy who's steering the paddle. If they're rowing and they're doing that without even looking at him or knowing where they're going, and they're just all in the heat of the moment, they're trusting that one person, in a way that how we should trust God. And to talk about like ships and sails and stuff like that, when like a deep sea fisherman, when they're on a sailboat and there's a storm coming, they drop the sail. They say, we don't need that wind to catch us. And they trust the waves and everything to push them where they need to go, or they let that pass by. Because if they're fighting and going against that, they're not like chilling. Literally releasing the sails and letting it drop is a form of like resting the ship or resting. So they're putting that down and letting the waves and the currents lead them, trusting that we're in a ship, we're not in the waves, we're not getting hit by whatever that's out there. As soon as it passes, we're good. And then they put the sails back on and they continue their path. So essentially, like in that moment of the storm, we need to like take a step back, because you never know. It's never from the devil. It's always a test, and it's very, very important that we are aware of that and know what's happening in the moment. Like be present in the moment to know when we're in the storm, because sometimes we may think like, hey, this is life, and then you hear, why does this always happen to me? It's not always happening to you. You're not slowing down enough to figure out why it's happening. So, to that analogy of the sail rowboat guys and, all the nautical terms I was talking about, just slow down. When you're in the midst of the battle, chill out, step back. Because I guarantee you half the time the battle is with yourself. It's not with anybody else, it's with yourself. And you can figure out why it's happening if you really take a step back. And it's not giving up. When you rest, you're not giving up. It's not a sign of weakness. If you have the time to pause for a second, you're winning. That's like a superpower for real. Yeah.
So piggyback what you were saying, like I visually was seeing it, like how they at the lower deck and they rowing and they get hit with all the water and all that, but the navigator is higher and he could see way more of like what's going on. And I was just like, and we down there rowing. Bad times, guys, like, yo, don't row. Like you said, like, just let the waves let us rock.
You literally pull it in and then you just stop for a second. For the navigator, God, it's like, you don't gotta row right now. If you're rowing in like rough currents, you can't do nothing. You're just gonna break the oar, or you're just gonna wear yourself out. So he's like, yo, nobody rows. They pull it in, they chilling. They don't see nothing. And then they put it back out when it's clear seas, so they don't exert themselves, so they're not burnt out.
And then another jump, I think it's Pastor Ted that said that a test will keep coming until you pass it.
Yeah.
And like as you were saying that, and it's like sometimes we create our own storms due to like us not taking that step back. There's like, and we was talking about this earlier. I'm gonna let y'all in just a little. I'm wrapping them later, but but like the test with like lust, like the test like okay. I'm like, okay, I'm traced back. I'm like, okay, this is a cycle. All right, Lord, I see what you trying to have me overcome. Now I'm being very intentional on the steps I take, the things I say, So I say all that to say is try to pass the test with the Lord and not on your own will.
That's true.
Going back to what you said, Patrick, about being in the gym and your muscles needing that rest to recover. Like, that's a crazy analogy because it's true. You know, go to the gym 7 days a week without resting and see what happens. Snap City. You know, but that's crazy because your body needs time to rest and recover in order to heal itself, to be stronger the next time you go. So why wouldn't we have that same mindset in our endeavors in life whenever there's a storm? You know, it's like God's like, hey, listen, I see you've been working hard. Let me take this. I just want you to cruise. Show me that you truly trust me. You know, the story about it was Abraham when he was about to sacrifice his son.
Yeah.
Went all the way to the top. All right now, boy. All right now. He's like, Daddy, what are you doing, Daddy? All right now, boy. and right the last second, God said, oh, yo, there's a ram in the bush over there.
Yeah.
He was at as a sacrifice. That's wild because he was about to take it there.
Yeah.
God's like, how far are you willing to go to show your faith and love and trust in me? Are we willing to sacrifice our own flesh and blood to showcase our faith? But that's like a real question. Like I'm asking y'all, would you take it that far?
Would I? That's a good question. Honestly, no. And that's off of thinking in a like today's standpoint, because I'm thinking of the consequences of what could happen. But like if I'm hearing God, like you said if I heard God's voice, or
like if God told you, hey, I need you to sacrifice your child.
Yeah.
And that's all he said.
That's all he said.
That's all he said. And so you're going off of the clear instructions.
Oh yeah, I'm doing
that God gave. Because Abraham heard God's voice.
Okay, yeah, he did. Yeah.
So if God said, yo, handle that.
Okay, so to backtrack on what I said, if I'm hearing God tell me that, it's for a good reason. I trust him enough to know, like, I don't even know what's going to happen, but I trust him enough to know that whatever he's planning to do, that I have to just follow through with it, especially if I'm hearing his voice up front. Of course, it would be hard. Obviously, it would be something that I couldn't imagine how Abraham had felt doing that. But to that type of devotion, you know, that's something where you have to really look inside yourself to see if you're able and capable of doing that. And I know even hearing his voice, he still has probably second guesses. That's his firstborn child. And I feel like all of us would have that. And yeah, that's a really good question. That's like very introspective, like really searching your heart on that, you know? What do you think?
I'm not gonna lie. I would, in a sense, question God, be like, yo, you sure? Like, keep asking me, you sure? And then, like, this is my honest jump. Like, I would, in a sense, try to walk around it, or like do it in a way I think God wants me to do it. Like, oh, sacrifice him. Oh, like Lion King. Here you go, Lord. The type that, unless he say kill him, like I would, if he say make it plain like that and say it's gonna be hard, but I would say like how I said walk around it. I'm probably like, yo, this bull come kill my son for me, like, because it's like I can't do that myself. You feel me?
Yeah.
But if he really write it down, make it plain, put it on the wall like Nebuchadnezzar in his dreams, all that, then I'm like, yeah.
If it's like plain as day, and it's today,
yeah. Then it's like, because if I don't, then it's gonna be worse.
Yeah,
things gonna be worse. You feel me? Yeah, that's how I take it.
Yeah. Thank y'all, gentlemen, for humoring me with answering that. No, it I don't know what I would do. Like it's like you guys said, if it's clear as day, like, and I know it's God's voice, God's like, yo, sacrifice your firstborn. Am I gonna have reservations about it? Sure, but I gotta go that way. Be reserved going that way. You still have to follow what I said, because you don't know what I have in store for you. Just how Abraham did it, and sure enough, at the very last second, hey, go sacrifice that ram over there. Yeah. You did good. You know what I'm saying? But are we willing to push it to the, will you deny me? Like we said, will you deny me 3 times? I love you, Lord. I'll do anything for you. Okay, go ahead, kill your firstborn. About that. You know, we can't, it's not easier said than done. We can't keep giving lip service without our actions actually proving that we truly love and believe in God. And I think a lot of us, we say it. I don't think we really mean it though. Not like Jesus. Are you willing to be hung on the cross with Jesus for what you believe is right? And all 12 of his disciples, I ain't doing all that.
They were not there.
They were not there. I'm not doing all that. They were in hiding. That's crazy. You were his main 12 people and you hid. So if his 12 disciples hid, what do you think we gonna do? So I think we definitely do take a look at ourselves and be like, hey, we got more work to do, more understanding of what it means to truly be representative of God and Jesus Christ for sure.
Nah, that was good. I ain't gonna lie, because it just like revealed the choice that we really have to make, and we have to be intentional with our choice. Like choice to pick up our Bible rather than our phone. Pick up, not even pick up our cross, but lay our cross down at the Lord's feet, and that's rest, right? And we have to make that choice to rest, because if we keep running, where are you running to? You're just gonna be running in a circle. You running the track meet when God wants you on the grass to watch the track meet. You know what I mean? So I challenge everybody to make that choice. But before we close, y'all got any closing statements?
So yes, with resting, just want to remind the viewers, everyone at home, it's not a form of weakness. It's actually a gift from God. Take it as a superpower from God, where we have the choice to slow down our life and reconnect with Him. Especially while you're resting, you need to reconnect with Him, and we have that. He has given that free will and that choice to just regain our strength. And resting, you need that so you can regain your strength. You need that so you can be well equipped for the rest of the week, the rest of the year, month, whatever it is, the hour. But just remember, it's not a sign of weakness, but be aware when you need to rest.
Yeah.
Check your heart, check your mind, check your body, physical, mental, and spiritual. You got to see, they all have to be in sync, and you have to check which one is out of sync and which one needs rest. So yeah, that's fine.
But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Oh yeah, we got the God's Grace Worship Night. Freedom is the theme. So come in the expectation of God just to move. I ain't gonna lie. April 25th. And stay tuned for a website. Website coming soon, so y'all can get y'all merch. Y'all can be tuned into the podcast. Y'all can get the recaps of the worship nights. Hey, this new, y'all. Stay tuned. We got different colors, all that. So tap in. But again, appreciate y'all. And see y'all next episode.